The pristine halls of the Anderson Institute for Biomedical Research had become more of a home to me than my actual house. Even on a Saturday night, I sat in my lab, surrounded by equipment worth millions, reviewing test results that could change the future of medicine. Not that my family would understand that. Dr. Sarah Mitchell? My research assistant knocked softly. Your sister's been calling the front desk. Something about a family reunion tonight. I glanced at my watch and sighed. Right. The annual Mitchell family gathering where my successful siblings would once again remind me how I'd wasted my life in research. Thanks, David. I'll head out soon. Just need to check these trial results. He hesitated in the doorway. The enzyme adaptation tests. They're showing remarkable stability. I allowed myself a small smile. After 15 years of research, we were finally seeing real progress in our work on targeted drug delivery systems. But trying to explain that to my family would be like teaching quantum physics to a goldfish. The Mitchell family reunion was held at my sister Victoria's mansion in the suburbs, a monument to pharmaceutical industry success. As I parked my modest hybrid car between luxury vehicles, I could already hear the laughter and chatter from inside. Finally decided to leave your lab? Victoria's voice carried across the marble foyer as I entered. She stood in a designer dress that probably cost more than my monthly research grant, champagne flute in hand. We were starting to think you'd forgotten how to interact with actual people. I forced a polite smile used to her jabs. Victoria was the CEO of Mitchell Pharmaceuticals, the company our father had built from the ground up. She'd taken it public 5 years ago, earning headlines and accolades for her innovative leadership. If only they knew that her company's innovations were mostly repackaged versions of existing drugs with inflated price tags. Research doesn't stop for parties, Vic, I replied, accepting a glass of wine from a passing server. Some of us are trying to advance medical science, not just quarterly profits. She laughed, the sound sharp and dismissive. Oh, Sarah. Still hiding in your lab playing with test tubes? When are you going to do something meaningful with your Harvard degree? My research is meaningful, I started, but was interrupted by our brother James's arrival. Are we talking about Sarah's never-ending experiments again? He grinned, straightening his surgical department chief badge. What is it now, sis? Still trying to revolutionize drug delivery. His air quotes around revolutionize made my blood boil. I took a deep breath, reminding myself that they couldn't understand. They saw science as a means to an end. Profits for Victoria, prestige for James. They'd never understood the passion for pure research, the thrill of discovery, the potential to truly help people. Actually, I said carefully, we're making significant progress. Our new enzyme-based delivery system could change how we treat. Nobody cares about your lab work, Victoria interrupted, rolling her eyes. Did you see the news? Mitchell Pharmaceuticals just acquired another generic drug manufacturer. We're projecting billion-dollar revenues next quarter. By buying up affordable medications and jacking up the prices? I couldn't help myself. Real innovative, Vic. Her eyes flashed. At least I'm running a successful business, not hiding in a lab coat pretending to change the world. How much does the mighty Anderson Institute pay you anyway? Enough to cover your student loans yet. Before I could respond, our parents arrived. Dad, the founding genius behind Mitchell Pharmaceuticals, immediately gravitated toward Victoria. Mom, ever the peacekeeper, tried to steer the conversation to safer topics. Sarah, honey, how's work? Still enjoying your research? The way she said research made it sound like a hobby, like I was playing scientist instead of leading groundbreaking studies in biotechnology. It's going well, Mom. We're actually on the verge of a major breakthrough in. Speaking of breakthroughs, Victoria cut in again. Mitchell Pharmaceuticals just received fast-track approval for our new diabetes medication. You mean the one that's chemically identical to the generic, just with new packaging and a 400% markup? I muttered into my wine glass. The room fell silent. Victoria's face darkened. Some of us have to work in the real world, Sarah. We can't all hide in laboratories conducting endless experiments that go nowhere. I thought about the results waiting on my desk back at the institute. About the patents we'd quietly filed last month. About the pharmaceutical giants who were already expressing interest in our technology, though they didn't know the full scope of what we'd achieved. Victoria had no idea that her company's recent innovations were hitting a wall. Their profit model of acquiring and inflating drug prices was facing increasing regulatory scrutiny. Their research and development department hadn't produced anything truly new in years. They needed a real breakthrough, not another repackaged generic. And I had exactly what they needed, though they didn't know it yet. "You're right, Vic," I said quietly. "Some of us do have to work in the real world. And some of us have to create the future." She laughed again, that same dismissive sound that had followed me since childhood. "The future? Please. Your little experiments aren't going to change anything. The pharmaceutical industry runs on business decisions, not laboratory dreams." If she only knew that the laboratory dreams she mocked could save her company from the crisis they were facing. Our new delivery system wasn't just another incremental improvement, it was a complete paradigm shift in how drugs could be administered and targeted within the body. But I kept quiet, sipping my wine as Victoria held court, detailing her latest corporate victories to our admiring family. Let them think I was wasting my time. Let them believe I was hiding from the real world. Later that evening, I overheard Victoria talking to our father in his study. The door was slightly ajar, their voices carrying into the hallway. "The board is getting nervous," she was saying. "Our R&D pipeline is dry, and the generic acquisition strategy isn't sustainable. We need something new, something revolutionary." "What about the cancer drug you've been developing?" Dad asked. Victoria's sigh was heavy with frustration. "Failed in phase 2 trials. The delivery system isn't effective enough. Too many side effects, poor targeting. We've spent millions and we have nothing to show for it." I smiled slightly, thinking of the test results on my desk. Our enzyme-based delivery system had solved exactly those problems, achieving precise targeting with minimal side effects. The very breakthrough that Victoria's company desperately needed was sitting in my worthless lab. My phone buzzed, a message from David. "Final trial results confirmed. All parameters exceeding expectations. When should we contact the patent attorneys?" I typed back, "Monday." "And David? Mark everything as confidential. No public announcements yet." Walking back to the main room, I passed the family photo wall. Decades of Mitchell's success captured in perfectly posed portraits. Victoria's business school graduation, James's chief of surgery appointment, Mom and Dad's pharmaceutical empire milestones. Me. The last photo of my achievements was my Harvard graduation. After that, I disappeared into research, becoming the family disappointment who wasted her potential on laboratory work. "More wine, sis." James appeared beside me, studying the photos. "Remember when we all thought you'd join the family business? Dad had your office picked out and everything." I remembered. I also remembered the day I told them I was choosing research over profits, science over status. They'd acted like I'd announced I was joining the circus. "I made the right choice, James." He patted my shoulder condescendingly. "Sure you did. Keep telling yourself that while the rest of us changed the world." Change the world. That's what they thought they were doing. Victoria with her overpriced drugs, James with his prestigious hospital position, Dad with his pharmaceutical empire. But real change doesn't happen in boardrooms or hospital administration offices. It happens in laboratories, in the endless hours of research, in the quiet moments when theory becomes reality. As I prepared to leave, Victoria cornered me one last time. "You know, if you ever want a real job, Mitchell Pharmaceuticals is always looking for research directors. Someone with your background could do well, even if you've wasted the last 15 years. I picked up my bag, feeling the weight of my laptop with its encrypted files. Files containing the future of drug delivery technology. "Thanks, Vic, but I'm happy where I am. Some experiments are worth waiting for." She shook her head, that familiar mix of pity and condescension in her eyes. "Nobody cares about your lab work, Sarah. The sooner you accept that, the better." I walked to my car, smiling as another message from David lit up my phone. "Major pharmaceutical companies requesting meetings. They've heard rumors about our breakthrough." "Hold them off," I replied. "Let's wait for the patent applications to clear first." Starting my car, I caught a glimpse of Victoria through the mansion's window, raising a toast with our family. The successful sister, the corporate genius, the one who changed the world. She had no idea that her world was about to change, and that her disappeared laboratory-dwelling sister held the key to her company's survival. 3 months after the family reunion, I sat in my lab reviewing the final patent confirmations. Our enzyme-based drug delivery system was now legally protected, and the research was ready for publication in Nature Biotechnology. The pharmaceutical industry was about to be transformed. Dr. Mitchell? David rushed into my office, tablet in hand. You need to see this. He pulled up a financial news article. Mitchell Pharmaceuticals stock plunges 60% following failed drug trials and FDA scrutiny. I scanned the article quickly. Victoria's company was in free fall. Their cancer drug's failure had triggered a chain reaction of investor panic. Worse, the FDA was investigating their price inflation practices. The board was calling for emergency meetings. There's more, David said, switching to another article. Their R&D department is basically defunct. No viable products in development. Industry analysts are predicting bankruptcy within 6 months unless they can acquire new breakthrough technology. My phone started buzzing. First James, then my parents, finally Victoria herself. I let them all go to voicemail. They'd ignored my research for 15 years. They could wait a few more hours. Should we release the patent announcement? David asked. Not yet. I gathered my files. First, I have a family emergency to attend to. The scene at Mitchell Pharmaceuticals headquarters was chaos. Security guards were escorting crying employees out with boxes of personal items. News vans clustered around the entrance. I walked past them all straight to the executive floor. Victoria's secretary tried to stop me. Miss Mitchell, your sister is in an emergency board meeting. Perfect timing, I said, pushing open the boardroom doors. Victoria stood at the head of the table, her designer suit wrinkled, her perfect composure cracking. Board members sat around her, faces grim. Dad slumped in a corner chair, looking older than I'd ever seen him. Sarah. Victoria's voice cracked. What are you doing here? We're in the middle of a crisis. I set my briefcase on the table. Yes, I know. Your cancer drug failed because your delivery system can't target specific cells without massive collateral damage. Your entire R&D pipeline is dry. The FDA is investigating your price inflation strategy. Did I miss anything? One of the board members leaned forward. Who are you? Dr. Sarah Mitchell, head of biotechnology research at the Anderson Institute. I pulled out our patent documents. And I believe I have something you need. Victoria's eyes narrowed. This isn't the time for your research lectures, Sarah. We're trying to save the company. Oh, I know exactly what you're trying to save. I opened my laptop, connecting it to the room's display screen. Let me show you what 15 years of worthless lab work looks like. The presentation began with our molecular imaging results. Precise, real-time tracking of drug delivery through the body. The board members sat up straighter. Our enzyme-based delivery system can target specific cell types with 99.7% accuracy, I explained, advancing through the slides. Zero toxic accumulation in healthy tissue. Controlled release rates. Complete biodegradation of delivery vehicles. The room was dead silent now. Victoria's face had gone pale. The technology is fully patented, I continued. We've completed all preliminary trials. Major pharmaceutical companies are already bidding for licensing rights. This is. One board member whispered, this is revolutionary. This is exactly what we need, another added. With this technology, our cancer drug could actually work, I finished. I know. That's why I'm here. Victoria finally found her voice. Sarah, why didn't you tell us about this? I laughed. Tell you? I tried. For 15 years I tried to tell you about my research. You were too busy mocking my little experiments and hiding in the lab to listen. Dad stood up slowly. How much? Excuse me. How much for the patents? Name your price. I pulled out another document, one I'd prepared months ago, watching Victoria's company heading toward this inevitable crash. I don't want money, I said quietly. I want control. The patents stay with me and the Anderson Institute. Mitchell Pharmaceuticals gets exclusive licensing rights, but only under specific conditions. Victoria's hands trembled as she reached for the contract. What conditions? First, you step down as CEO. The company needs a chief executive who understands both business and science. Someone who won't sacrifice research for quick profits. The board members murmured in agreement. Victoria's face flushed. Second, the company's entire pricing structure gets overhauled. No more inflating generic drug costs. We focus on real innovation, not exploitation. That will cut our profits significantly, one board member protested. Initially, yes. But this delivery system will open up entirely new markets. We'll make money by helping people, not hurting them. I laid out the rest of my terms. A new research facility, ethical guidelines for drug development, profit sharing with the Anderson Institute to fund future research. And one more thing, I added, looking directly at Victoria. The company name changes to Mitchell Anderson Pharmaceuticals. Because some of us never forgot what this industry is really about, helping people. The board voted immediately. They had no choice, it was my terms or bankruptcy. Victoria sat silently as they approved each condition, watching her corporate empire transform. 15 years, she whispered as I packed up my presentation. You spent 15 years on this? No, Victoria. I spent 15 years advancing medical science. The fact that it's saving your company is just a bonus. Dad approached me after the meeting, his eyes wet. I was wrong about you, Sarah. We all were. I know, I said simply. But it's not about being right or wrong. It's about remembering why we do this work in the first place. 1 year later, I stood in the lobby of Mitchell Anderson Pharmaceuticals' new research facility. Our delivery system had revolutionized cancer treatment. The company's stock had recovered and soared to new heights. More importantly, patients were getting better treatments at affordable prices. Victoria had transitioned to a board position, finally admitting that she was better at business than science. James had eaten humble pie and now collaborated with our research team at his hospital. And I split my time between the Anderson Institute and our new facility, continuing the research that everyone had once dismissed. A fresh-faced intern stopped me in the hallway. Dr. Mitchell? I just wanted to say, your paper on enzyme-based delivery systems inspired me to go into research instead of corporate pharmacy. I smiled, remembering all the family dinners where my work was mocked, all the reunions where I was pushed aside. Keep following that inspiration, I told her. Sometimes the most important breakthroughs come from the experiments everyone else ignores. That evening I found Victoria in my lab staring at our original enzyme models. I never understood, she said quietly. All those years I thought you were wasting your time. But you were seeing something the rest of us couldn't. Science isn't about quick profits, Vic. It's about persistence, about believing in the work even when no one else does. She nodded slowly. The board wants to create a research grant in your name. The Sarah Mitchell Fellowship for Innovative Medical Research. I thought about all the other scientists out there, working on discoveries that might take years or decades to realize. About all the breakthroughs waiting to happen if only someone believed in them. Make it the Mitchell Family Fellowship, I said. Because sometimes the most important thing a family can do is learn to see value in different kinds of success. As I worked late that night, surrounded by the equipment and experiments that had been my life's work, I realized that success isn't always measured in stock prices or corporate titles. Sometimes it's measured in molecules and microscopes, in patients helped and lives saved. And sometimes the best revenge isn't proving others wrong. It's proving yourself right, one experiment at a time.